But then God stepped in and everything has changed. I was never a bad kid. I've never had any run-ins with the law or even a detention for that matter. In fact, I was a model student with only one B during my high school career and a schedule full of AP classes. School and academics were everything to me. I got involved in all sorts of clubs and ran for student office. I was busy all the time. Chemistry lab reports, history outlines, assigned reading, football games, bake sales, designing t-shirts, prom decorations. My to-do list was never ending. But somehow, even with my schoolwork and all the extracurricular activities, I found a way to have friends and to have a life. And I lived the way most high schoolers do. I partied hard on the weekends, worked even harder during the week, and went to youth group on Sunday nights. My long-term goals were simply to get to a good college, become a pediatrician, and make a whole lot of money. I was on the right track, and I had everything that I ever wanted. I was friends with the cool kids at school, I had nearly perfect grades, and a great shot at getting into any college that I wanted to go to. At this point in my life, I had experienced God before, but I had never been really interested in pursuing a relationship with Him. The way I saw it, I didn't need Him. I already had everything I needed to get what I wanted out of life, and I'd done pretty well so far without Him. So why did I need Him for the rest of it? Besides, I thought, I'm not a drug dealer, I'm not a prostitute, I'm a good person. And even though I never verbalized these feelings word for word, this is the message that I was sending out to everyone around me, including to God. Then, in June of last year at Student Life Camp, my world was flipped upside down. God began to slowly open my eyes to the true state of my heart. I began to realize that I wasn't as content with my life as I thought I was. I've been using my busyness as an excuse to ignore my problems, and I started to see that the incredibly nice and hard-working person that I saw myself as never really existed. I finally recognized that I was filled to the brim with pride and vanity, that I was inconsiderate, rude, and downright mean to people. As a daughter, I was demanding and disrespectful. As a sister, I was condescending, bossy, and hateful. The only person I ultimately cared about in the world was myself. And at the end of the day, I was no better than the lowest of the low of this world. As God showed all this to me, I began to feel overcome by my sin and my guilt, and I felt so ashamed of the way I had been and of how I had constantly hurt the people that I loved the most. I couldn't see how I would ever be able to live with myself again. But then God, in all of His amazing grace, offered me forgiveness and something even better, hope. The hope of becoming more like Christ, more loving, more understanding, more compassionate, and more selfless than I had been in my entire life. And it was in this hope that I began my senior year of high school, with my identity firmly rooted in the Lord instead of in my schoolwork. It's been full of ups and downs, and by no means have I left my old self entirely behind. I'm still sassy, and a lot of times I say really hurtful things to my friends and family, and I'm still not really that good at sharing my food. But every day, I get a little bit better at becoming like Jesus, even if sometimes it's hard to tell. And throughout all these incredible changes, my dreams of one day becoming a pediatrician still remained. But instead, I felt this time like God was calling me to be a medical missionary. So I plan on heading over to Africa or some other undeveloped part of the world as soon as I graduated from med school. In October, I visited the University of Virginia and fell in love. It was my dream school. And I prayed and prayed that God would let me get in. But of course, He had a different plan for me. So in April, when I received my acceptance letter from UVA, I had asked them to defer my admissions for a year. Because in September, instead of going to college, I'll be leaving for an 8-month-long mission trip to Swaziland. And there I'll be working in an AIDS orphanage and doing what I love, taking care of kids and serving Jesus. Never in a million years would I have believed you if you told me last year that this is what I would be doing with my life. People tell me I'm crazy all the time, and that I'll regret this decision for the rest of my life. But instead of making me feel unsure of myself, these comments only give me joy. Because they're a sign that my life is starting to broadcast something much bigger than myself, and people are beginning to notice. And this is just the beginning of my future with God. And as I stand here on the threshold of the entire rest of my life, my only regret is that it took me 18 years to answer his call. Thank you.
Somebody turn up the AC. It's really hot in here. My eyeballs are sweating. The love of God is undeniable. Amen. As you have seen this morning, and each one of these students has seen the reality of God in their life. And it has altered the message they're broadcasting. I pray that as you leave today, that this would echo in your mind today. What is your message? What are you broadcasting to this world? And what are you broadcasting to God? Amen.